Saying this, I'm going to introduce next storyteller, Matilda. She's has published a novel called No Season But Summer, and is writing another at Kent University with ICCI scholarship. She has 2 children, is founder of a movement, creative carers called M/Others Who Make, and a director with Improperable, a worldwide known theater community. Welcome to the stage.
Hello, everybody. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me. So I am reading 4 short pieces, which are what they say on the tin, on the programme. My title is Experiments in Becoming an It. So they're not traditional fables. They're short pieces that I've written that are kind of informing this. So I'm writing a novel that has fabulous elements but isn't a fable. And they're mostly, they are experiments. So they're short pieces. They're kind of poem-like, but they're not poems. I'm going to be a candle, feel my way into a tree, have a conversation with a sponge, and imagine some salt people and the culture they might have, people made of salt. So that's my slightly eclectic offering. So here we go. The first is called The Candle's Lament. I grow shorter the longer I stand. What am I? I am a candle, you cry, mightily pleased with your wit. I, a favourite word of yours. But have you ever stopped to consider whether this is how candle might speak? Though candle might look like an eye, standing tall, straight, singular, I is not candle talk. Let us speak candidly now and consider this. Candle comes from tallow, from the soft insides of cattle, from the waxy glands of the abdomens of bees, from soya beans, jojoba seeds, and the fruits of the bayberry bush. Not from you, not from I. If a pronoun must be used, we will do. More wobble, more wave, wane, wax, more wander in we than in I. For we are made and unmade in the heat, when solid turns liquid, when hard things flow. You like to label, to set, to fix. You pin, name, and claim. Standing, holding the flag of your word, proudly like the first man on the moon. But it looks as absurd, a little rag of colour stuck in the ancient grey dust, against the black immensity of stars and space and unnamed eons. Yet words can work in other ways, not pin, define, but sound and slip. Words can lull, dream, amaze, confuse, confound, shift, soften, quietly nodding, strangely flickering, speaking as candle, with our warm tongues licking the dark, listening to you wax on, telling your heroic tall tales. I. Meanwhile, we weep in silence and set only slowly. Altogether too impressionable, you might call us. What am I? It is only you that feels the need to ask. Now the world is melting too, like candle, though singing still, in many voices that move like light over water, impossible to pin. Now we grow shorter, the longer you stand and cry, I. Thank you. Thank you. So that was number one, that was Candle. So this is a play with feeling into tree. It's called Tree Wisdom, and it's a kind of slightly fabulous play with the biblical origin story, creation myth of the Garden of Eden. So it's that tree. So I wonder what the apple tree had to say. All trees have knowledge, but I doubt that one in the centre of the garden had any extraordinary knowing. I'm sure, however, it was not the fruit that made the man and woman self-conscious, stole their innocence. Sitting beneath the tree, their backs to its bark, watching its shadows play over the ground, eating its apples when they came, they would, only slowly perhaps, have come to learn what the tree knew. About root, reach, earth, sky, about breathing in sunlight, feeling rain and darkness fall, drinking deeply, conversing with neighbours, answering need. But nothing of shame. No fruit, branch, leaf, no part of a tree could teach that. But don't eat did. If they had never been told they should not, they could have munched away with impunity. It was the pronouncement of something forbidden that started the pronoun. It was her, it was him, guilt, guillotine swift, severing the self, a rude separation from tree, garden, and one another. So fast it came, I imagine that half of the apple lay still uneaten, gradually mouldering, sinking, seeds and all, back into earth, renewing the tree's knowledge and relaying its news to the others that the people had, quite sadly, suddenly, left. Their exile was also not the fault of the snake. She was shy, not sly, had quietly noticed what the tree knew, sensed the silent swarm of its growth as she slithered over it, coiled about it, her belly to its branch. The bare branch, swelling to a tender, tight knot of bud, breaking out into a white cry of petal, and then, at last, the snake witnessed and whispered to the woman about the slow curve of apple, the tart taste of it, how this was good, how this was something worth knowing. Thank you. Cool. Next one, 2 to go. This, I've called it the fable of the sea sponge. Again, it's not a conventional fable, but I spent most of last year in hospital, being seriously ill, and I wrote this as thanks to the sponge afterwards, and for this conference. So, the fable of the sea sponge. Citarabin. I called you Citrus Arabella when we were introduced to help me remember your name, and because you came to me first in a yellow cloth bag with a pattern of lemons upon it. Inside, you were crouched in a pouch with a pump. I had to wear you round my neck for a week as you slowly entered my body, up my arm, down to my heart, and from there out to every artery. You quickly made me less mammalian. I lost my hair, turned lobster red, swelled up, waterlogged. But despite these clues, it was only much later, once the neuropathy had begun, once my fingers had started to crackle, and I had begun to wonder if this was what metamorphosis felt like, the itch of the change, that I looked you up to find out, I suppose, what I might be about to become. A sponge, it said on the Wikipedia page. From the Caribbean. Nothing citrusy, You had come from the sea, your official name, according to us, Cryptotheca creta. You, the first marine-derived anti-cancer agent, sent inside me on a secret mission. But nothing like Bond, not 007, 000 would be your code name. No arms, no legs, no eyes, no face, no bones, softest of animals, hardest to anthropomorphize, and yet it seems just similar enough to my chemical composition, just different enough to be deeply helpful to me, to be able to heal my marrow, for it was within my bones that I had grown ill. Now, however, I feel you in my nerves, though you have none yourself. Down my median nerve, my first fingers fizz, robbing me of that feature humans prize highly, our opposable thumbs. It is becoming hard to pick things up. I am losing my grip. So I listen to you with your many mouths, which are also ears, your speaking and listening being one and the same. Like human touch, your sponge speech is always two-way, saying and hearing with one suck and surge, swell and sway. Inside me, inside you, 100 flagella create currents, moving sensation, cells, sand, signals and secrets through me. I, becoming you, am a network of passageways, thoroughfares, a system of spaces, absences, possibilities, until bunch tents hunch, you close, and I feel nothing. Numb and dumb, end of story, simple as that. Till you open again, crackling, calm, my whole body singing with sea, moving through me, drifting, shifting in the ocean, often clinging to coral. I cling still to sense, a very human habit of making a moral. We enter with clever, clumsy fingers, bent on extracting meaning as if it were ore, irrespective of the damage done, gripping it, guarding it, hoarding it. But as you heal and change me, as I change into you, the offer you waft my way is wide open. I used to think I was too porous, took too much in, but I sense now that I have not been porous enough. Let it in one ear and out the other, a basic sponge skill. Not the tired injunction to go with the flow, a more active directive, whip up the flow, move everything through you. Even our bones, our seemingly most solid structures are spongy, and a sponge is never a mindless mop. I, as you, decide with care now what to retain and what to release in my marrow. Thank you. Last up, this is actually from a bigger collection of sort of flash fiction pieces that I've been working on for a long time, called Other People's Other Worlds. And although it's called The Salt People, but it's I'm still trying to become an it, something other than a person. So it's otherness is what interests me. So this is called The Salt People. Look at the salt people coming into solid shape again. They have crackly bodies with frost-white skin, almost translucent. Their faces are irregular. Look close to find the features in them. Look for where the light glances off the white in tiny sparks. That'll be the eyes. Their houses are built of compacted salt bricks Inside, salt tables and chairs. Outside are pathways of fine powder, salt rocks to either side. The people use the rocks to build dry salt walls round their bright gardens. Fragile flakes hang from salt trees. See the things they bury there, beneath the trees, in the salty soil to keep them safe and clean. A kettle, a jelly mould shaped like a silver fish, an old black boot. All kinds of things are preserved in the salt people's soil. Everyone is nosy about what their neighbours have hidden in their gardens. Each is proud of their own treasure, but would never say it's more than what it is. They are honest, the salt people. One man has a bracelet, silver and gold, buried in his salt, but this is valued no more than the old black boot. Listen to their silences. Their air is like sea air, the whole salt settlement, awake but calm. They do not talk much in the days, but at night, when their houses glow in the faint light of the salt, they gather and tell stories. They talk about the things kept in the ground and the things kept in themselves. All salt people have memories of the salt they came from. Some dream of the sea, some were inside people's tears and carry joys and sorrows not their own. Some speak of vast landscapes. Listen to them as they sit round on the rocks beside the path. One man wears a pointed hat, an unbroken square of crystal, while the salt of his face is fragmented, sharp and edgy. With his jagged mouth he tells of smooth white tablecloths, the chink of glasses, of polished silver cutlery and hands with rings. A salt woman whose face is soft and powdery says she knows the sound of the crinkle of the stones as they move back and forth in tides, and once the slither of an eel. Another tells of hanging meats, a dark barn, quiet, smoky days. Another remembers only stinging eyes. Everyone accepts such things. They are simply part of being a salt person. They are a hardy people. The whole village seems always in winter, but all salt people know that a wet season will come. When the rains arrive, the salt people do not run for cover. They come out of their houses, stop their work. They gather on the pathways. Listen to them call out to each other. They cannot know who they will be when they next come into solid shape, what they will carry then. Goodbye, they call out to each other. Goodbye. They have to hurry. Their calls are watery, blurred, for with the rains, the salt people disappear. Watch them dissolve. Listen close now, for only as they go do they taste themselves again. I'd forgotten, they each whisper. Perhaps I am already dreaming, but I must remember for next time this salt taste in the water. Thank you very much.